I've worn glasses since I was in the second grade. My eyesight is compromised, just like so many other people. My limited humanity also has limited perfection with eyesight, and so I need eyeglasses to help me perceive reality. The lenses are shaped in a certain way that, coupled with my compromised humanity, my limited humanity, I perceive reality as it is. But that requires the right prescription. With the wrong prescription, or even an outdated prescription, those lenses certainly do influence the way that I perceive reality, but I'm not really perceiving reality. I'm perceiving a distorted image of reality because I have the wrong prescription. Lenses influence the way that we perceive reality. The same is true in life whenever we're struggling, whenever we're suffering. And if we're going to choose to live with hope in our life, we also need to acknowledge our need for patience as we are in that season of struggling or that season of suffering. Because the struggle or the suffering serves as a lens through which we see our current reality. Whenever you're struggling, whenever you're suffering, right, it's the way that it colors everything in the present moment. It colors your capacity to be in relationship with people. It colors your perception of whether God is with you in the present moment. But what I've also found is that the lens of suffering or struggle, it also claims the way that we look at our past and our future. So it's easy for us whenever we're struggling or suffering to say, oh, I've always been like this, or I've always been alone. Or we look at our past and we perceive that we did something to be a source of the suffering or the struggle. It certainly is a lens through which we look at our future, right? It's easy for us to have thoughts or feelings like, I'm always going to suffer. I'm never going to get out of where I am. I'm kind of stuck where I am. Suffering is like a lens through which I perceive the world. And just like the wrong prescription with eyeglasses can give me a distorted image of reality, suffering is a distorted lens that gives me a distorted perception of reality. And so when we're struggling, knowing that, it's important for us to ask God to give us patience. When we're suffering or struggling, we are inordinately influenced by our emotions. It's in those moments that our emotions are heightened. We feel things at a heightened sense. We feel despair, we feel alone, we feel frustrated, all the things that accompany suffering, right? And all those things, you might say, are amplified or magnified by the circumstances that we find ourselves in and our perception of whether or not God is with us. Compared to the heightened level of emotions, God's presence is often very subtle. His voice is often very subtle. His activity is often subtle or even sometimes not seen. That's why we need to be patient. We need to be patient so that in the ebb and flow and the rise and fall of our emotions, we can hang in there and hear God speaking to us underneath the intensity of emotions or in the lull when those emotions kind of ebb and flow. It's important for us to be patient, and it's important for us to learn from our own patterns of patience. Tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is it that God's doing in our lives or even in other people's lives when we're called to be patient. So there's a little hope that we're going to learn about that tomorrow. But tonight what I'd like us to do is just to look back on your own history of patience. Are you a patient person? Or more importantly, whenever you're suffering or struggling, are you a patient person? What makes it difficult, what makes it easy for you to be patient in times of struggle. Tonight, pray with Psalm 121, again Psalm 121, and look back on your life in the times where you suffered and learn about your history of patience. What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about your response when you struggle? It's there as we learn more about ourselves that we can relate to God and find Him with us. And it's there that we can learn how to be patient and be a people of hope. God bless you.